One of the tools you'll be using extensively in your animation is the transform tool. Now with the transform tool, you can rotate, skew, scale, and you can even change the pivot point. Now, not only can you do that when you're animating, but you can also do that for an entire animated layer. Now, where the transform tool is located is right beneath your animate button. And if I select it here, I can click basically on the eyes here. And each one of the corners is kind of a manipulator. And there's several things we can do. We can rotate. And of course, this is going to rotate from the pivot point, which is shown right here by this little blue dot. As well as we can come down and skew things. And each corner we can scale. And if you want to keep that in proportion, you'd hold down your Shift key and move things that way. Now, all of this is without having on the animate button. And with that, you can move the entire animation. So if we decide to click and move our eyes completely off of the face here, and I decide to scrub my timeline, the animation is still the exact same, but we've actually moved this. So I'm going to move this back in place. And what I want to show you now is if I turn on the animate button and decide to move this, everything is still here, staying in the same place, but if you note, we now have a keyframe on the very first frame. And if I come to about frame 30 and decide to move this again, the computer's actually automatically tweened a little animation here. And again, if I decide to scale this, this also works with the transform tool. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to simply do Command Z. And we'll turn off our animate button. In addition to this, you can come in and change the pivot point even temporarily. And this comes in handy when you want to select more than one layer. So in this example, I'll grab the eyebrows, hold down my Shift key, and I'm just going to do this in a timeline and come down and select the head. And now when we're in our camera view, here is our pivot point. But I can move this pivot point down here. And this is just a temporary movement. And you can tell that because you can still see the faint little blue dot at the top. But now I can rotate the entire head, or even skew the entire head, and scale as well. I'm going to undo that. So with the transform tool, you're able to push your drawings and animations a little bit further, especially when you use it in conjunction with the animate button.